for me as an entrepreneur and trying to get things going, it's really frustrating sometimes.
This is the Ben Taylor Podcast, the home of marine industry insights. Enjoy. Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of the Ben Taylor Podcast, the home of marine industry insights. Today I'm going to talk a little bit as part of the series to profile the Australian yachting industry with Versatile Marine, here with Michael. Nice to see you, Michael.
Nice to see you too. Thank you for having a chat with me.
You're very, very welcome. So give us a little context first. So who are you, what you do, what's the focus at Versatile Marine?
We started up about 7 years ago. I came out of the shipbuilding industry, maritime industry, global industry. And I said, well, I've got a lot of know-how, which I want to purpose in various areas. And one of the things I started doing is starting a consulting firm.
Yeah.
And we started actually advising clients, whether it was in shipping or in shipyards, to help develop their capabilities. And I did that in Western Africa, I did it in South Africa. And eventually this grew into a nice project in the Philippines. And at the moment I'm doing a big shipyard development project in Indonesia. But also, as you know, consultancy work is quite volatile. Sometimes you have a lot of work, sometimes you have a lot of work.
Yeah.
So we got really wary of that and we said, okay, we need sort of a bottom line feeder. And we started marine trading. Now, marine trading is actually growing rapidly. We've actually had a couple of very interesting agencies now, for example, from Syncrolift.
Yeah.
So Syncrolift is one of the largest products we actually do in Australia and in New Zealand, which is ship lifts.
Yeah.
So we actually lift ships out up to 30,000 tons.
Oh wow.
Now, just to give you an idea, that's really ships up to bulk carrier size vessels.
Yeah.
So you can think about Navy vessels, bulk carriers, but also super yachts. Now, we've actually tendered to a yard to Rivergate in Brisbane.
Oh yeah.
For a 3,000 ton lift.
Yeah, I was there last week. I went on Friday and met the team there and saw all the facilities. Yeah.
So they were actually looking for a big ship lift, and we were tendered for that, and we were hoping it really came about, but it didn't happen. I think the money was the biggest challenge, as usual.
Fair enough. Yeah.
We've been tendering now also with. We're going to tender for the Cairns, the Cairns new ship lift in Henderson.
Okay. And are you manufacturing these lifts? What's the position?
I'm representing a company called Syncrolift.
Okay.
They're a Norwegian-based company. They're the largest ship lift designer and developer and builder in the world.
Okay.
And they are particularly focused around innovation. So they actually look at ecological, sort of protecting the environment type solutions.
Right. Okay.
Which is opposite to some of the other competitors. They actually have an open deck, and all the oil and remnants can fall through the platform.
Right.
In our case, we make a closed platform with a gutter system around it to protect everything. And then it comes down to things like filing, biofiling, which is on a vessel, which we obviously try to take off. And linked to that Syncrolift engagement I have, we also carry a number of products. We actually treat filing.
Right, okay. So explain how that works.
Now, filing is the marine growth which attaches to a ship. And that's why you have to bring a ship out every now and then to clean it up.
So you've got the biofiling on, you need to scrape it all out, probably anti-foul it afterwards.
Now, the anti-fouling at the moment, there is quite a hype at the moment with IMO saying, thou shalt not put any nasties into the filing anymore.
Yeah.
No biocides, no tin, no copper. So we actually carry a new brand now called F2 Eco. It's by the way, made in the UK.
Right, okay, yeah.
Just letting you know. Through Ocean Coatings. And this product is still a silicon-based anti-fouling, but it actually has a secret ingredient which repels marine growth.
Okay. So and the detail there is.
It's
the detail. So the secret ingredient is not one that's being disallowed or is a concern for the regulators, etc.
It's fully eco-friendly. It's a clean product. It doesn't have any solvents in it, so the application is also much lower risk than for a solvent-based coating.
Okay. Yeah.
But we've actually have applications proven on vessels for example, in the UK. Where they've applied it about 10 years ago, and they haven't recoated the boat yet. And it's just a matter of pulling it out, getting a soft cloth, wiping it off, putting it back in the water.
And does that need to be done by a professional?
No.
Or is that something that DIYers can do?
We can do it. I'm not kidding you.
Okay. And so what's so exciting about the Australian market for this kind of solution?
Well, you look at the Great Barrier Reef, look at Ningaloo Reef, you look
Right,
at
okay, yeah,
all the reefs
conservation
around
of the
Australia,
environment, very
conservation
sensitive,
areas,
yeah.
the protection of our waters, the biosecurity we have here in place,
Yeah,
where it's
yeah.
even more important to protect our environment, specifically the habitat. That's why we have a solution, not only through the coating, but we also have an ultrasonic anti-fouling system called Sunnyhull, which is
I
also
know the guys there. Yeah.
the guys from the UK again.
Yeah.
So Sunnyhull we can apply it on the hull, but it requires a lot of transducers, especially on super yachts like 60 meters and above.
Yeah.
So we prefer combining it, the coating, with then
Right, okay.
on specific spots we put the ultrasonic anti-fouling system, which is like a little transducer you put on the hull, like a little speaker.
Yeah, I've seen them. It looks like a small speaker or like
Correct.
it's something like this big, right?
Yeah, it's really a little
this
tiny,
kind of size.
tiny speaker,
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And you can put that on your sheet chest, on the water intakes, on your propulsion system, on your rudders, on bow thrusters, where you can't reach really with
Right, okay.
other forms of protection.
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing. And then, I would say that those are the key products we have at the moment. Plus, then also we do electric propulsion systems for fast vessels, fast motor yachts.
Yeah.
Which we can actually propel using like what we call high-speed thrusters, similar to what the IPS system is, but commercial
Right, okay.
duties.
Yeah.
And then complementary to all of these systems is that we also have the ability to actually integrate everything into the vessel and service it in Australia. I think that's even more important nowadays.
Yeah, it's a big point. Yeah.
You can bring products into Australia, but in the end it's all about, where's the service technician?
Yeah, how is it going to actually happen and be applied to the vessel? Yeah. So who do you tend to work with? What kind of partnerships do you seek out? Who do you engage with?
At the moment, we're looking at engaging with, for example, the boat syndicates.
Right,
We've got
okay.
a lot of ship owners or fleet owners who actually lease or time charter motorboats into especially the Eastern Australian market. The Rivieras, the Maritimas, those type of vessels, Sunseekers. These are vessels which are hard to maintain and hard to manage because they're constantly out and about on being chartered.
Yeah.
Funny enough, I'm just thinking of another product we have. We have an AI-driven product called Heffring,
Okay.
and that's actually meant to monitor and control what's happening on a ship. So, for example, if you have a charter yacht which you want to charter out to a client, and you say to them, don't push it too hard because we've got a particular sea state or whatever, and they still push it. We actually have a system we can monitor and control what's happening on board and actually give a warning to the skipper saying, take your speed back.
Right. Okay. Is that used more for bareboat charter, or is this for skippered charter, and you can assess
Could be
your
both.
your
Could
fleet
be both.
operators and
Yeah,
things like
could
that?
be both. Yeah.
Right. Could be.
Could be both. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that is one of the options. That's why we call versatile marine. We've got a lot of options.
Yeah.
But coming back to the solutions we can offer it's just not just a product, but we actually, because of my technical background, we can actually advise a client in what they can do and how they can deploy it onto their fleet, whether it's a commercial ship owner, whether it's a shipyard, whether it's a yacht owner.
Yeah, so it's like a portfolio of clever solutions. They have quite a lot of value, quite a lot of
Correct.
applications.
Yes.
And so by being quite consultative, you can say, well, what kind of problems are you facing? We probably have a solution
Correct.
for it.
Yeah.
Let's
And
kind
that's
of
exactly
put our
what we do.
brains together and then get a better outcome. Yeah.
And I must say, where it grew out of, I wasn't just in shipbuilding in my life. Before I became a shipbuilder, my dad had a shipyard.
Right. Okay.
I grew up as a little boy in the shipyard.
Or going around the workshop floor and seeing everything.
Dirty as black as hell.
Yeah.
Full of oil.
Yeah.
And but he also owned ships. So I actually grew up in a ship sailing as well as shipbuilding environment. So I've got a little bit of background, and that's what I would like to transfer. That knowledge I'd like to transfer not only to ship owners and to fleet owners, but also to the shipyards I've been talking about, the Indonesian shipyard, where I actually transfer my knowledge to build a new shipyard with massive capabilities, robotized manufacturing lines, bigger than the whole Australian industry will ever deliver. And I'm really excited about it, and hopefully within a few months I can actually publish something about it.
Okay.
Gladly
cool.
do it through you.
Yeah, but we can't talk about it yet. Okay.
But I can't talk about it yet. It's the reps.
And would you say you're quite optimistic about the Australian yachting industry, the market, the kind of direction it's going in?
Yes, I am. At the same time, I've listened carefully into what was told during the last sessions. My biggest concern, and everybody is venting it at the moment, David as well, is the lack of docking capabilities.
Yeah,
now,
infrastructure.
Rivergate was almost there with regard to their single lift.
Yeah.
But at the moment, there's sort of a hold off to investment into shiplifting capabilities.
Yeah.
And especially the super yachts, we're talking about 60 meters plus. At the moment, at default, either to other areas, to Singapore and to.
But why is that such a barrier? Why don't people just invest in a bigger lift and then?
Because the lift is a big expense. It's a big investment.
Right. you need the money.
it needs to be government backed in most cases, or at least investor backed.
That much money.
And you talk about, just to give you an idea, if you talk about a ship lift like for Darwin or for Cairns, the lift and the infrastructure around it just to carry the lift, you talk about 50 million Aussie dollars.
Wow. Yeah.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah. And with stakeholders like governments being involved, it takes time.
Correct.
We can't just do this kind of within 6 months. There's tendering, there's bidding, there's all that relationship building before you just say, here's the delivery, here it is. Yeah.
It's a very slow deal cycle, but it's needed. So actually, there are a couple of shipyard owners at the moment accelerating the process themselves through private investors.
Okay, yeah.
And I think
because the market potential's there. Like the investment is justified. It's just getting on and doing it.
Everybody's doing this at the moment.
Yeah.
And it has to do with the grey boats.
Okay.
The Defence Strategic Review, which is happening here in Australia.
Right.
And there's still no firm decisions what facilities are required in what region. Now, Darwin is actually the first one building a new ship lift. The second one may be in Cairns, we don't know yet. Henderson is also coming online.
Okay.
In Adelaide, so looking at a big ship lift for the
so
big
it's starting, but there's a bit of uncertainty there, which is just
slow.
A little short of how much kind of stability and confidence an investor needs to be able to get in.
And I think the intent is there, the willingness is there, but it's just everybody's sort of waiting to watch what the other ones are doing.
Isn't it? Yeah.
And for us, as for me, as an entrepreneur and trying to get things going, it's really frustrating sometimes.
Okay. Right. Well, we'll leave it there.
Yes.
Thank you very much for your insights.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Everybody, if you find content like this insightful and helpful to you, make sure you're following here to see plenty more of it. All being well, we'll see you again soon. Bye for now. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Ben Taylor Podcast, the home of marine industry insights. We'll see you again very soon. Bye for now.